This new segment is called Name Pending. What's going on Reddit? So I thought we'd go on the board game subreddit and pick out a few interesting discussion topics and maybe just highlight what the community is talking about these days and give our own opinions on it. All Basically, have other people come up with content for our show so we don't have to.
Excellent.
Doesn't that sound good? All right, so first up, here's a Reddit post that comes to us from Reddit user Javier Lustanao.
Well, did it come to us, or you found it?
No, I just found it.
Okay.
I just found it. He posits the question, should board games get regular patches as though they were video games? And a lot of people in the comments and even the post itself kind of mentioned that they think games maybe already kind of do this with things like errata and second editions. But overall, I think the tone was generally no. Nobody likes video game patches for the most part, at least what they tend to represent. And people, it's would you rather that a game come out and be perfect right away? Obviously, that's ideal. But do you think maybe they could be updated and patched as time goes on? I don't know. What do you think about that notion?
Well, I think I don't have anything wrong with video game patches for the most part. I think people are blaming more of when you have something. I think the company usually people blame is EA, when it seems that's literally the game doesn't even work until it's patched. Yeah. But I mean, when I think of a patch, I think more of like update. There was a small glitch here, so we took that out and fixed it. Like, it's not really, the game's unfinished. So. But in terms of board games, like, we get errata for that, but I don't really want it, with the few exceptions. Mostly because in a video game it's easier. It's literally, it downloaded while I was away. It's not a physical component you have to buy. And you don't have to look it up. For errata, even errata, you have to look up and know that you have to look up for errata.
That's tough.
The few exceptions I'd say is something like Netrunner, Magic the Gathering, something that has a strong tournament scene. Because there's, that's a bit more competitive and there's money on the line.
Right.
So that makes more sense for there to be errata, ban lists, patches, so to speak.
You also brought up video games. Of course, we've been talking about First Martians and other similar games that have apps now. And that makes it a lot easier.
That, I think, is perfectly fine. Because let's say Mansion of Madness. Let's say there was a mistake somehow, like when you went through one story and the boss appears way too early. They could be like, that was a mistake. While the game is supposed to be difficult, not that difficult.
Right.
So we patched it so it should work like this. So when it comes to its digital stuff, that's fine because it does it by itself. Board games, I think, is a bit too pricey for both sides and hard to find. So unless you're in a tournament where you're already looking into everything and where there's an official rulings always happening.
Yeah. Try your hardest to make the game very playable on release. But if you can, especially if you're digital, sometimes a patch in the right place here and there, I agree, can be appreciated. All right, now
a patch, not a DLC.
Yes, not day one DLC. Here's a post from user Ira Sky1E. I give this user, this is the first award that we're going to get out in the show, biggest overreaction to any game there ever was. He titles this thread, "Very frustrated after a game of Avalon. What can I learn from this?" I'm going to give you the sum up.
Resistance?
The Resistance Avalon.
Okay, just want to make sure.
The sum up is that he was Merlin, and he noticed something happening that was very suspicious and called players out for it who he knew were bad guys. But he believes that if he weren't Merlin, he still would have known it, even though no one else in his group did. At the end of the game, they ended up calling him as Merlin because of that, and he lost. And he was very upset because he felt that had he not been Merlin, it would have been great, and it was his poor luck, and that they didn't seem to understand that they were playing poorly. They were like that he would have caught on to it whether he was Merlin or not. Now, I really just want to point this post out because I think you should all go read it because it's fascinating. Because I'll show you right here. He wrote roughly equivalent to the Bible plus War and Peace. Plus, I mean, every religious text, all the great Russian novels worth of text about.
I just like to start the first comment.
Scenario. First comment starts, "Oh dear, this is not good."
Well,
this may be a lesson in just maybe don't take your games that seriously.
well, it's not that. Part of it is you have to understand that Avalon is a group game that really depends on the players you're playing with. How many times I can say that I was chosen as the seer or Merlin, like all those games, and I'm like, nope, I'm a villager, just because I was being good. Like,
Right.
the whole point of being Merlin is you have to actually be dumb while trying to secretly point out, like.
There's definitely also an aspect of playing off the group rather than pure logic, the way I think this guy was doing it. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's, you got to understand that each game plays differently, and that's what this game you really have to understand. Sure, logically, you would have found it out no matter what, but that's not it. You have to understand the group and how to trick
What
them.
matters is would they think you would figure that out, yeah. Which maybe they will from now on. And finally, one more that was interesting. Gamer123098 made a thread. It's only September, but what are you pegging as game of the year for you this year? So it's kind of interesting to see what's buzzing around people's heads already at this stage. A lot of people said Gloomhaven. Also saw Spirit Island, which we haven't played yet, but I'm very excited. We have a copy that I'm dying to get our hands on. There was some Seventh Continent talk, some First Martians talk. Some This War of Mine talk, but it seems like Gloomhaven and Spirit Island.
Yeah,
really
Gloomhaven, I mean, we backed the second wave, so eventually.
Yeah, yeah. Eventually, we'll get to try it out. I saw Magic Maze in there somewhere, but yeah, it's, let us know what you think are in the running so far. There have been some pretty good games, but those feel like those are the standouts a lot of people are talking about.
Yeah, we'll wait until later when we can get a chance to talk.
Yeah, we're not going to give anything away.
So we may talk about one of the games you mentioned.
It's possible. It's possible. Don't read the description. All right, now let's get to, that's enough. That was what's going on Reddit. Let us know how terrible that was. And if you never want to see it again. All right, next up we got a couple.
Hopefully we'll come up with a better name.
Yeah, let us know. Give us suggestions.
If you enjoyed this video, it was just a snippet of our full-length podcast, which you can find on our YouTube channel every week. So please go ahead, like, and subscribe for more board game-related content coming at you in the future.
And don't forget to check out rollforcrit.com, where we actually sell a lot of the games we talked about, as well as post news and all our other videos. Until then, I'm Will Keeler.
I'm Jonathan Estes, and this is Roll for Crit.